You can go as long as you want to go on there, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna do that.
30 minutes maybe. I don't know how you are.
Hit y'all back later.
Oh, you turned out somebody watching?
like 350.
You gotta relax, bro. Oh, I thought that was my phone. I said, how you get my code, man?
Oh no, man, I don't do that.
You got 2 droids? That's crazy.
No, that's an iPhone. Boy, what's wrong with you?
Oh, you tapped me from my droids. I wasn't sure. I seen the green things. I was like, oh, what's this? All right, mic check, mic check.
Can I get some Pepsi too?
Yeah, sure. Hold on, let me get you right. I got you. You're a guest, you know what I'm saying?
You got ice?
All right, mic check, man. Morning Masters podcast. I got a great host across from me, man. Dope individual. I got my guy, Trev. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, brother. How about you, man?
I'm chilling, man. Quickly, I guess, before we start this, reintroduce yourself. Like, who is Trevor? You know what I'm saying? What does he do? You know what I'm saying? Like, besides joke on Facebook and watch battle rap.
I'm not a professional troller. I promise y'all. I'm just a guy, professional, working McDuffie County, Parks and Rec director out there. I love what I do. Found that career about 2.5 years ago. And, I'm a part-time basketball player now. I had to put that on the shelf a little bit.
Used to be full-time?
Yeah, used to be full-time.
That's what's up.
I still get full-time buckets, though.
It's been a minute, man.
Nobody want to play me one-on-one.
It's been a minute, though.
Nobody wants to play me one-on-one.
I mean, some people that could play. You could play one-on-one for the spots at Richmond. There's some Richmond legends that play one-on-one.
Catch me on Trev Says Things.
Every 1 or 2 months. But
shout out to Zach.
But shout out to Zach, definitely. But yeah, man, I asked that first because, from what I know you as, I know you from originally playing basketball, of course. Definitely one of my favorite high school basketball players. I always say that. I know we joke a lot, but, seriousness, like, watching you play was dope. I remember one game, I was so mad because y'all played Butler. It was at Richmond. It was your senior year, though. And y'all beating them so bad, the person that drove me there just left. And I was like, damn. I wasted that money for nothing. But I had never really seen you play. I've seen you play, but it was always like more challenging games. Mm-hmm. This was a game where you was free flowing. They couldn't really guard you, so you were just kind of toying with whoever was guarding you. I thought that was dope. I wanted to see it. I'm like, all right, I know they have 20 points before halftime, but I mean, I want to see the rest of the game. That's the only time really getting to see you like play. So I always tell that story. I was just pissed off about that. But I mentioned you playing basketball because one of the things we're gonna talk about is like identity, of course, and I want to start with you, right? Like, as of now, today, what does Trevor want to be identified as? Do you want to be identified as the person that played at Richmond from this time to this time, person that played at Delaware State from this time to this time, a father, a brother, a son? Like, what as a used to be full-time basketball player, right? What do you like to be identified as?
Just a hard worker, man. I know a lot of people don't honestly think that I do anything at my job, but I do a lot. I do a whole lot. Working in county government, it's not easy and it's not for everybody. And so what the main thing that I want people to understand is I still don't box myself in. I do the Trev Says Things. I'm working right now, and I let everybody know I'm working on an album. Yeah, see,
rapping or
everything. See, that's the thing. Music was my first love over everything. I sung in the choir at like 3 or 4 years old in church. I was in the Augusta Children's Chorale, so I know how to sing different styles. So
I interviewed about it's your third time on the podcast, right? It's your third time.
Yeah.
Okay, because I asked you a question about your childhood, your life, and I don't know. I feel like this is something totally new you're doing. That
I gotta leave stuff out so I can come back and talk to my boy, man. You my brother. I can't give you everything at once.
You was in a choir?
Yeah, man.
Can you sing something? Go ahead.
I ain't seen nothing right now. You got about an album. Hey, man. It's marketing, man. Marketing 101.
You going live, right? I don't know. I thought you go live and so I can YouTube link. So I thought we were doing that, but it's all good.
Nah, but I want to be known for doing multiple things. And with this album, I want people to understand I got a lot of friends in the city that do music. I got a lot of people that across the country that's going to be on this album. But it's going to be a motivational album. See, going back to the Trev Says Things, the motivational quotes that I put out, the videos, is all going to be put into this visual album. Like I said, once again, I work in county government, so I have to be strategic about how I do things. And the purpose of this album is to get people thinking a different way. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I don't want people to feel like you're boxed in doing one thing. If you got kids right now that don't know what to do if they're not in a sport.
Right.
Like
Right.
so, I mean, so I want to be able to show people different things. No, I'm not picking up the cello again, but I did play the cello.
I don't think you was that good doing the cello.
Oh, I was excellent. I was
I'm
first,
looking at you right now, and you ain't giving me cello vibes.
I was all county chair, first chair, man.
I think you're making up stuff now.
I got the pictures to show
All
it,
right,
man.
well, send it to me after this.
I will. I'll send you everything. I'll send you the one when I sung with the Augusta Children's Choir.
Or would you sing now? Is
Had
it
it.
the one?
No, you gotta buy the album for that, man.
But you're not
on
even singing on the album.
But
You
on
just-
that
you
on
gonna be
that
talking the
on
whole
that
time.
album, I'll be singing, rapping, doing everything, hooks, everything.
You got videos coming out?
Yes, and Mike Gibson, I got to get with you too. But there'll be no cursing on that entire album.
Well, you don't
No.
curse anyway like that. Like,
I don't.
Typically don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're upset, I guess. Miss a shot. So you do curse a lot on the court because you
Here
miss
or
a lot.
there, there's not really curse words though.
You miss a lot, so you curse a lot. It's
No,
okay.
I ain't really missed nothing.
No, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you, man. But on a serious tip, though, I do want to start the episode off with I'm gonna read this status. So I was tagged in the status, and this is why I reached out to you. I thought we spoke briefly about this before, and I know that out of all the players, you're probably the most articulate, and we can have a deeper conversation than on a surface level with this particular stats I'm about to read. So it says, as coaches and parents, we must do a better job of affirming our players and providing them with the space/opportunity/time to explore who they really are outside of athletics. I know a lot of former athletes who are struggling with the pain of losing their identity. They have no identity outside their respective sport, and that's disturbing. I do feel like this was an underrated status. I feel like it should got a lot more shared, a lot more comments. Because I think we all know people. I'm not a person. We all know people that may deal with this. And if you don't know it, some people don't know it.
Right.
So to kind of break it down a little bit, let me ask you, and you have to tell me how you feel or how you ever felt about this, right? So by the time you got done with college, right, and you got the chance to go overseas, you got the chance to do this. Now you are Trevor Welcher, which, like I said, you're a son, you're a brother, you're somebody's significant other. You're more things than just a basketball player.
Right.
But to some people, you are a basketball player.
Right.
So naturally, that's your identity. How was it feeling when like on your side of things, like, okay, maybe things not clicking where you may not play overseas because you got to make a decision to whether to play or not, whether you want to play or not. You may not get the contract you want. It may not be lucrative enough. You might have felt like you made some mistakes in college for basketball-wise, and maybe your career took a turn. Who knows? Just all the things that's going through your mind, right?
Right.
But then you walk outside or you walk to an event, whether it's in Richmond County or a game or whatever, and you still got to be identified as, oh, that's the guy who played for Richmond. Like, how does that feel when those memories are brought up, or that just that the connotation that is brought up? Oh, that's the guy from Richmond. That's the scorer from Richmond. That's the musketeer. That's this person from Richmond. Like, how does that feel?
It feels good for a slight second, and then it's like, okay, what else are you doing in your life? A quick story. My oldest brother, we just had this conversation the other day. I didn't even know we were gonna be able to talk about it today, but I'm glad that I'm able to bring it up now. So
I do things like that.
yeah. So he so when I came back home, now before I decided to come home, yes, I did have 2 overseas contracts that I turned down. So I'm not gonna do that. I went to grad school, and he's like, okay, after you finish grad school, what are you gonna do? You still want to go overseas or whatnot? I said, I don't know. I'm weighing my options or whatever. So he told me, don't come home. It's the first thing he said. He said, don't come home. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, why you don't want me home? He's like, no, it's not that I don't want you home. He said, things are different, and you're gonna have to change. I didn't understand what he meant by that until I came home with a girlfriend and a child. So basically was telling me, if I came home, basketball is over because you ain't just thinking about yourself. So we were at my other brother's house, who's deceased now, Zay, and God bless his soul, God rest his soul. But we were over the house talking about old days again, old basketball games and all that. And I'm like, I'll still give everybody 25, 30. My brother blows up, yanks me up, pulls me outside. He said, that issue's over. Basically what he said. He said, it's over. He said, it's cool, but you taking it too far tonight. He said, it's over. I ain't know what he meant. I said, what you mean it's over? Like, no, it's over, Trev. Like, Bird, you can call him Bird, it's over. You got a family to take care of now. You need to reinvent yourself. It's like, if you keep trying to be known as playing ball, then that's all you're going to ever be. And you're going to never put that passion that you had in basketball into anything else, and the rest of your life going to crumble. So I went home, I cried. I cried, man. I was like, dang, it might really be over. Like I don't know what else to do. So I had to start searching. I had to be looking within myself to see if I even wanted to like move on without basketball, but I had to.
Right.
So I think, like I said, it feels good to hear people talk about your stats and all that. It's great, but it's like, what other stats do they have? Now I'm able to say I got a leadership award. Now I'm able to say I became a director at the age of 30. Now I'm able to say that, I became a professor at the age of 23. Like, these are things that don't have anything to do with basketball anymore.
But those are also your identity now as well.
Absolutely.
So I like that, like what you said. And I think that from what you told me, like you did this when you were younger, did this when you were younger, like at the time where you realized, okay, well, not I have to give basketball up, but that dream I have, that identity I have to shift it. It can still be my identity, but that's the past now.
Right.
That's not what I want to be known for, because it's over with at that point. That time period, like how do you go from point A to B or B to C, whatever, but how do you go from, okay, I was doing this, I'm known for this, now let me go ahead and make a new legacy, or let me go ahead and make a new identity, or let me go ahead and show them I can do this, because I can't even say it's a new identity. It might just be shifting. You might just be pulling your inner self for something different. And before you answer that, with your brother or your family, what could they have done differently to make that transition or that period easier for you?
I think honestly that they handled it perfectly, and they were saying the right things. It's like I got friends now that say the right things. It's whether I want to listen and grow from it or not.
Because I know people gonna watch it, I need to know this. Like the day you say you cried, your brother hemmed you up, he told you this, that, and third, right? How do you and you might can answer this in a better way, but like, what is a proper way to tell somebody who lives, breathes, and just all sports, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's volleyball, baseball, whatever, like somebody that's dominantly just sports, that's their identity.
Right.
How do you tell them, like, hey, I know this is life for you, but just in case you don't make it, and don't sound like you're saying, hey, you might not make it.
Right.
So how do you tell them to go from that to that?
It's touchy. So going back to my brother, that's my older brother. So I don't suggest that everybody put hands up here. I can't do anything about that. Like that's his older brother. So I mean that he's always been like that. Not saying he would try to harm me or anything, but
he always send you up,
No, come on, man.
It's okay, Bert. It's okay, Bert. It's okay, Bert.
No, but I mean, he was just trying to give me a chance, because to him, he didn't have any older brothers. He's the oldest.
Got you.
Like, so he done any mistake he made, he gonna make sure that I at least have the option to choose not to make it or make that mistake. So he's gonna make sure that he gives me everything. The methods aren't always, easy methods. Sometimes you gotta put hands on little bruh, not to hurt me, but just to, hey man,
you gotta be firm.
Listen. Yeah,
you gotta be firm.
So, but for anybody else, the truth, man, you just gotta tell them. Like, and sometimes, like you just said, like the way you say it just gotta come out. Like, I mean, you can sugarcoat stuff all day long, but
I only asked you that because in the quote, it from what she's saying, I feel like she's saying like, not do it when they're 18, 20 years old. I'm saying like for her, and from what I gathered from what she said, it's more like, hey, let's start doing it from the get-go.
Yeah.
So that it's an easier transition to back away from sports. For instance, with you, I know you can sing. So I know you was a singer or you did all that stuff, right? But how many people did know that knew you put that jersey on every Tuesday or Thursday, whatever games you had? How many people know that know you dropped 30 in high school or 24? He might have said 30, but
it's 30.
Yeah, what? Tomato.
We do this every time.
But it's one of them things where people know this because you going hard, you going to practice every day, you putting your all into that. But could we draw back from that? And or would it even be conducive for a player to draw back from any sport they're in to give, instead of giving 100% something else, let's break it down here and here.
So I think you have to go back to those vocational classes. So we had at Richmond, one of my favorite classes was one of my technology classes. And I won't say her name because I don't know if she wanted me to say her name or not. But she was one of my favorite teachers at Richmond. When my brother passed, they made T-shirts and all that other stuff. But the stuff that I know I didn't take that class serious. I just loved her as a teacher.
Got you.
But imagine if I had taken that class seriously, I could have been an engineer by the time I was 24.
I'm glad you said that, because two things about that, right? One, no sports player takes any vocational class seriously. That's just that's just the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this though. I'm glad you're having the conversation because it opens up more doors, right? Because them teachers that make athletes take classes serious are scolded a lot of times because she only doing it because I'm an athlete. Yeah, because you might not make it.
Right.
And honestly, in hindsight, you look at it as like, yo, she only because I'm an athlete. All these students in here, but they might make it because they not all set on this one thing.
Do the math.
You see what I'm saying?
Do the math.
But how do you tell a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kid that when, at that age, we think we know everything?
My coach used to tell me in college, son, your chances of making it to the league is like taking Jell-O and nailing it to the wall.
You told me that last
It just ain't going to happen. He was not saying, Trevor, you're not going to make it to the league. Your chances. You got to do the math. It's 15, 16 roster slots, right? On an NBA team. Times, 30, 32 teams?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Do the math. Then you got your G League spots. That's crossed the entire world that everybody's trying to get into the league. Like, so at some point, okay, every year, if you're trying to make it, them years passing, putting wear and tear on your knees, wear and tear on your body. So if you keep spending all your time trying to make it to the league, whether that's NBA, MLB, NFL, nobody's saying that nobody believes in you, but you can put that same passion into something else. I want to see, this is what I want to see. And I waited to this show to tell you. I've been thinking about it for about 3 months. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna say it on Trev Says Things. I could, but let me talk to Maine about this. I know he's gonna look at it from a different viewpoint or the same and pull something else out of it.
Right.
When we got these travel teams and they're spending 2 or 3 nights away at the city, whatever, why aren't they reaching out to local businesses? Where they going? To get these kids looking into something else. You got a kid, every coach, every travel ball coach, every trainer, whatever, if you around kids, 1 in every 15 to 16 kid, 1 every 20, whatever, can draw. 1 in every 20 kid is good at math. 1 in every 20 kids can be an architect, a teacher, engineer. Why aren't we going to these local businesses when we take them on these trips? Why is it just about the sport?
And I think that go back to her status of like she's saying as coaches and parents, we got to do a better job of making sure that we are like, it's okay, give 100% to the game, give 100% to sports, and that's all cool. But also find you a talent, find you a niche, find you something that you can do just in case. There's nothing wrong with plan B. Everybody want to do plan A. Ain't nothing wrong with plan B. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think a lot of times how it's communicated is the wrong way.
We got to go back to thinking about this, right? Why do we normally think so much just about the sport? Now we keep forgetting this. The sport is to pay for college tuition. That's what it used to be for. Like, let me just get to college where I don't have to pay for anything.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna play while I'm there, but they're offering other things at the school. That education, top-notch education if you in school. The D1, D2, D3, whatever, you in school.
So I stop you there, and I want to stop just to, because we got certain players, the players that we know some high-level player that's not going to go to the NBA, that didn't go to the NBA, right? That kid that's scoring 30, you scored 24, but let's say 30, right? The kid that's scoring 30, like, I know some real 30-point scorers, you know what I'm saying? I'm related to one, so good. But, the kid that's scoring 30, when they go to these school visits, I done been there. You done been there. I done been to a few of them, and they tell you, they do their due diligence of telling you everything it has to offer, but what that kid thinking about? He ain't thinking about this study program. He ain't thinking about, they got this, or he ain't thinking about, that's a good extracurricular activity, or it's like, all right, cool. That guard, I can take his spot. I might get 25 minutes over him. All right, bet. That's the pick and roll. I like that. They are thinking strictly basketball.
Right.
And I don't know what else, like you as a parent, as a coach, like what more in that particular setting can you do to get them to pick the right school
that
too?
Same homework you do that you done already mapped out that player's stats that all right, I know he dribbled the ball four times, with his left hand, then he switched to his right. You didn't study that player and study how many points they did. You do the same thing with the school. If you already made your choice, you do the same thing with the school. I know they got this program, so hey, if I don't go overseas, hey, I come back and do this, or I can take this class or whatever.
One thing I say, I'm not saying nobody can't be depressed. 'Cause we'll get into that in a second. We're gonna long walk it, but like it is odd because a lot of people that in this status I think about have degrees.
Mhm.
They have the means to do other things that and so ironic that the kids that was in class with them didn't have the leisure to do to
Right.
get that free education. The person that wasn't getting scolded by the teacher because they didn't do their work don't have that free education. They had to go actually get it or get loans or something like that.
What's the flip side? School also ain't for everybody.
True enough.
Okay, so the trades. If I know a kid, he's been around cars all his life. He may not know may not be an A+ student in math, science, or whatever, but he knows cars and he does just enough to graduate. 9 out of 10, that kid is gonna go back to a shop or find somewhere, or he should, if he's not going to college. That's another trade. Now that kid gets certified or whatever in college because it's easy to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing wrong with
But
that.
that go back to the system though. Like I don't want to dig into Richmond County. I don't want no smoke. But like I don't think the vocational classes are like that serious. They don't take them serious. I was in one. All we did was, let me just be honest. All we did was write the definition down every day. Go to the back of the book. You write them. You write them out, and then you talk the rest of the period. I don't know. I probably can tell you most of the words we did today. I don't know what the words mean. That's what we did though. We did them, we talked, and we joked, and you went home. Like that was.
I just think we got to get back to making education appealing again. I mean, I do feel like teachers,
but we can't put them in schools though.
We can't. No, absolutely not.
Because if you, as a parent, let's say, because I'm strictly going to first status as a parent, if you know your kid is good with cars, but they're also good at basketball, right? We got to find a medium to where they're working on cars and they're getting that kind of trading. Whether instead of you sending them when they don't have AU tournaments, whatever, you send them to a shop and they work in that shop, whether it be for nothing or they getting money on the side, whatever the case may be, but they're learning something just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just in case. There's nothing wrong with that.
And in the same way, let's say I got a kid and I know he's interested in basketball, we're going to send a kid to a camp, right? Who's to say that these businesses can't start auto shop camps for at least 2 or 3 days just to give people the opportunity to see what it is that they do on a daily or weekly basis. I just think we need to be more open.
You said something about with your coach about going to the league, and I pulled it up, and it said only 1.2% of men's basketball student athletes are drafted by the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So that should tell you what kind of percentage you win. Not even distant, but when you think about what you do in high school, sometimes you're not gonna do in college.
No.
It's not gonna go over there that way. And I also feel like, but what happens is you got this glory to your name. Your identity is you a scorer. Your identity is you the baddest in this 56-mile radius. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody coming from another 56-mile radius in California who coming over to this school.
Going to this game. Yeah. Everybody's the man.
Yeah.
In college. You know what I'm saying? So when you do, and it's not even, I don't want to make it solely about college, but when she's saying like these athletes, they've been trained all their life because they've been the man where they're at. They've been killing where they at. They've been killing the competition where they at. And you build their self-esteem up to where like they feel like they're up here. And not that they not, but they just didn't make it to where the ceiling was for them.
And it's hard.
And then it's hard to come back.
Yeah.
You got student athletes never had no job.
Yep.
Never filled that application. Never had to. You know why? Because they played that sport, they were always taken care of.
Everything was done for them.
So when you think about the identity, it's like, I'm this player. I'm the person that I needed these shoes. That coach got it for me because I dropped 30.
Right.
I needed this. Got it for me. I dropped 30. I needed this grade. That cool teacher that didn't scold me, she looked out for me. But now you're in the real world. So like, how does that transfer over? So even teachers have to do a better job. Coaches got to do a better job of making sure that they're not even going to teachers saying like, hey, change the grade because he played. All that starts a downhill effect to me.
We got to get back to the village aspect.
Definitely,
village raising the youth. Like it takes all of us. If I know what I know, and I don't know a specific thing, but I know Maine knows it. I'm gonna take care of this aspect, but I'm sending you over there to Maine. These kids should feel like they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to run to. They have nowhere to turn. That's how they should feel. If you go over here, you're gonna meet Maine. If you go over there, you're gonna meet Trevor. If you come over here, you're gonna meet Johnny. These kids should feel like wherever they go, it's gonna be
there.
somebody there in a positive aspect. Not saying that they can't have fun. We want these kids to have fun. We want them to have fun, but they should feel like wherever they go, man, I'm gonna get this. Yeah,
I agree with that because while they playing, that's how they feel. When they playing sports, when they got that identity to them and they producing as a sports or as an athlete, they feel like no matter where they go, they good.
Yeah.
But when that stops is where the problem comes.
Cause now you ain't getting all that
phone
glory.
ain't ringing.
Yep.
Social media ain't tagging you.
Ain't popping. But see, now you can. I just wish we had NIL deals when I was in college.
Go ahead.
I feel like them NIL deals was made for me. If we had those in college, oh my gosh. You know, like it's just it opens up a new aspect. It does bring a lot. It has some controversy to it,
right?
But at the same time, it's really just telling student athletes to think outside the box.
As a player, so I want to go more into when players are done now. So let's say they finish, right? I'm gonna use you as an example. When you here, so the decision you had to make came from a couple things. One, whether you wanted to continue your career doing that, and you also had a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times we always say, well, have a backup plan just in case you don't make it. It's not necessarily you don't make it, but athletes need a backup plan just in case life happens.
Right.
Life happening is you slip up, you do have a kid. Whether you planned it or not, you know what I'm saying? Now it's there. So like your brother said, when you come back, now most athletes can get away with playing sports and keep doing all this other extra sports stuff and trying till about 26, 27, 28 because they don't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's still just them. They taking care of themselves only, if that. But when you got a whole life to take care of, life happened. So now you gotta, what's that backup plan you got? Oh, you thought you didn't think it's gonna happen. So now what do you do? So now you're depressed because once you got to take care of it, you can't do that. Or you can't do it successfully. Mind you, as an athlete, most things you're doing successfully. You winning championships or you winning this, you scoring, like you're always producing. So now you got this new precious life that you gotta take care of, or I'm just using the baby as an example now.
No, you good.
And you don't feel like you're doing a good job. So now you're depressed on there. Your career ain't go where you want to go. Now you're depressed on there. Every turn around, they telling you how you used to score 30 points. And you got to think about, I used to. I can't do it now, probably. Or I don't have the opportunity to do it now.
Right.
Or all that, to you might feel like those memories ain't nothing no more. You might don't care about them because you're like, well, it ain't get me nowhere now. So it's so many things that you be depressed about. You mad at other people now because they bringing it up and they don't know that you want to bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot to that's on your mind that would make a person be depressed. How do you think that they should handle that, or where should they go to for that? You mentioned going to people. Who do you go to when that happens?
They can definitely come talk to me. They can definitely come talk to me. Talk to people like yourself where they can just get it out. Get it out. What is you want to say? You feel like people should be still treating you as such that you scoring 30? Okay, here's how you handle it since you ain't playing that sport no more. Find a career path. Choose a career path and score 30 in that.
That's dope. I like that. And you know what? One thing about what you do I like is that, and I don't know if it's something you always wanted to do, you kind of stumbled upon it, but like I said, you're a director now, you know what I'm saying? And technically speaking, you still on the sports side of things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not too foreign for you what you're doing. And actually dope because you might run to somebody like, oh, you could tell them your story, you could tell them what you did, and now you might touch somebody's life based on what you're doing, but you're touching kids that's also in sports as well. So now you that coach and that / parent, even though you didn't sign up to be,
right? You're
that person that can tell them like, hey, don't lose sight of this. You do poetry, don't ever stop writing poetry because you dropped 30.
Right.
You do good at photography or filming, don't ever stop that because you got a tournament. Do what you got to do.
Right.
And do that at the same time. Live your life to the fullest.
When you on those vans and if you do music, you should be writing on the way to a tournament. If you're doing poetry, you should be writing on the way to. If you are artist, you draw. You should have your doodle pad. Whenever you're not looking at plays or whatever. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's you can score 30 multiple ways. You can go pro in anything.
Yeah.
That plan B, it needs to be there because if your plan A is a sport, let's be honest, it's hard to make it to the league. But let's go before that. Injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You get hurt.
That's
life.
Like, life happens.
That's life. You get hurt. They say you can't play anymore. Then what? You just gonna shut down? No. There's no reason why you should want to shut down.
But that's what kids are doing now, and I think it's a few reasons, right? And I know this because like I have a brother who plays basketball, and somebody asked me the other day, they was like, oh, so what Don do? What he gonna do is that third, right? And I'm like, to be honest with you, bro. When I see my brother, I don't talk to him about basketball all the time.
Right.
I stopped doing that because I I took classes. I took sociology classes on sports, so I know how much it can drain on a player. Whether you good, not good, whatever, it drains you because you're doing it all your life. So somebody that started playing sports 6, 7 years old and they've been in the limelight for 10, 12 years, and now you're out of it, you don't want to keep bringing that up.
Yeah,
that's new to them. That dimness is new to them because it's been so long since they felt that them not being a star or something.
Yeah,
and you have to. I feel like what I did was by not bringing up basketball so much. What I created was identities like you're my brother first before anything. My brother first, and then you got a son. You're a father. You know what I'm saying? You're a son. So you other things besides the basketball player.
Right.
So I'm gonna talk about other things. If he happen to bring it up, that's cool. You want to go shoot around, that's cool. I'm always there for him. I'm the number one person gonna be there. But at the same time, I ain't gonna bring it up all the time because I do feel like I start imagining like, damn, imagine I did this and I did this and I did that, and then somebody keep bringing it up, but I may not be in the space to talk about that. I may not want to talk about that yet.
Right.
Because sometimes people have to do that reality that's over. And you can speak to it more than I can, but it's not as a one day thing. You might have went home and cried that one day, but you probably cried days, not physically, but like mentally just crying days after that because like, damn, this is really over for real. Like,
yeah.
Something you've been doing for 20, 12, 13 years, you don't just even Jordan couldn't just retire. You see what I'm saying? Like, people don't just stop.
And that's the thing. Me and Jordan are alike in a lot of ways. Okay, like we're alike in a lot of ways. So what people
you gamble too?
No, I don't gamble. I definitely don't do that. But that's the mentality. Like, yes, he killed on the basketball court, right? But when he stopped playing, like he still had his shoes or whatever, but he was like, okay, now his GM,
he was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but he's turned the Hornets organization around.
But that go back to the thing. You can be a good. He ain't the GOAT no more than that, but he still plays. He's active. You can be active. Like you can actively do other things. You know what I'm saying? And for as a parent, me, I would say more so family member, you coach, parent, like you do have to start to utilize other talents. You can't just solely rely on sports. I think, and especially in our community, I'm gonna just say that. I think we rely on sports a lot because we feel like it's our ticket out.
Yeah.
So often we don't harp on other things they can do.
Right.
Oh, you can draw. Okay, cool. Shoot that basketball. I don't know no artist that's making $1 million. I want a house.
LeBron. I can't believe I'm saying it. LeBron and Shaq. Off court, two people to just follow. The moves that they make.
See, but that's another thing. But see, people aren't LeBron. That's why I like LeBron for other. Like I like him for sports too, but I like him because of what he represents.
Everything else,
on and off the court as a collective. I don't see other players replicate that. Like I remember one time in the playoffs, he was. I know it sounds mundane, but he reading the book. I don't know why, but that to me, I was like, damn, that's dope that they actually showing him reading the book.
Yeah, whatever book that was, those sales went up.
And that's dope. But I'm curious of how many other high school players that watched it say, you know what, damn, I should read a book for a game. And then and then from there, what happened? Like after reading that book, what happened? Did you learn something? Did you start reading books? Like, because athletes don't be reading like that. You know what I'm saying? They playing ball.
Yeah.
Ball and girls. That's it. It's like, that's the two things. I want to play ball and I want to mess with these girls. That's it. So to have an athlete showing like, even though it's crunch time, I'm reading this book, it's helping me. It's somebody that look up to them like, you know what? I'm going to find a book to read. I might drop 30 this game. I might do this game. So.
But see, that's the other thing. Like, do people want to be smart? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but
back in the day, I did. I always did. But I ain't been in that school setting so long. But the young kids I do run into, I often wonder that. And we just talk about it off air, but I often wonder that as well. Like, is that a goal now? I want to be the smartest in class. I want to know how to write this essay. I want to know how to do this.
I'll give that to kids these days. Now, a lot of these student athletes these days, you got some that's valedictorians, salutatorians, got the highest grade point average in this. Like, I will give them that because I think it's become more cool now in this age to have good grades. But aside from the grades, we got to get back to like these trades once you graduate. Like, we got to get back to education. We got to get back to trade school. We got to get back to entrepreneurship. Outside of basketball, outside of basketball, football, baseball, your sports, like, because yes, sports can get you there, but you gotta spread it around. Now it's more options now.
I would say like you gotta look at. I think you should draw a map, and the goal should be to be successful, right?
Right. Yeah.
So let's say success is right here. Let's just use this, all right? I'm gonna use your water if you don't mind. You've been drinking it. All right, so yeah, it's all
Don't
good.
touch
I
my
know.
Pepsi,
Thank
though.
you. No, I ain't gonna touch your Pepsi. Thank you. But the goals of success is right here, right?
Right.
This is the sport, whatever you're playing, right? This sport should be what gets you there. This shouldn't be the success you think it is. You know,
Right.
and if it is, cool. If there's just more water there, all right, cool. You're in the NBA. It's great. You know what I'm saying? You create jobs and do other things with other people, but you're supposed to use this tool to get there.
Right.
So as more people like, for me at least, right? I didn't play sports in school like that. So I feel like success was there for me. I had to find other ways. So I'm reading books, I'm reading this, I'm doing that. I'm networking. I have to do all the groundwork as a player. This is everything. Network come to you. All that stuff come to you because you are walking. They think you know, walking ticket at this point.
Right.
It come to you, and then you make your success. You have your water back now. You know what I'm saying? You get to your successful part, and success don't necessarily mean going to the NBA. It don't mean getting a $5 million contract. It could just be simply not being in debt, having a degree, and being successful at working and doing what you're doing.
Right.
It's just that simple.
So I'm gonna have to give kudos to you for a second here because you've created a culture now to allow people to be free in creating their own podcast or whatever it is. I mean, I know you and I can't say who you are with your personal friends or whatever, but I know what you tell me, and sometimes it is like, dang man did say that. I can't get in my feelings like, man, why he said it like that? No, man told me, okay, I would like to see more Trev Says things. I want you to be a little bit more consistent. I gotta take that. I consider you a true friend,
right? And
true friends gonna tell each other the truth, just like my true friends in our chat. Hey Trevor, look, listen.
Stop shooting the ball.
If you ain't, if you in class, if you not in shape or whatever, hey, what you got? That hurt. It hurt, man. But at the same time, they telling the truth.
Right.
I don't have time to play ball every day. So if there are other individuals on our team that I know that play all the time, hey, they need to be playing this shit. They need to be on the roster. I'm gonna always have a roster slot, but that doesn't necessarily mean I need to be out there playing.
Right.
I can still support the team by just being out there. And I kind of think that's where I was last year. But at the same time, I want people to understand that, the platform that you've created here with More Than the Masses, man, it means a lot to a lot of people.
I appreciate that.
It really does. But they need to see they need to come on here just to see the pregame.
Definitely.
How you set up,
the environment, all that.
Man, he used this. Like, okay, if I want to start that, I want, but I don't like when people just go and just start stuff without doing the homework.
And anybody tell you, typically, if they ask me, I tell them, come up, you can watch the podcast and watch me set I answer all the questions because doing it via, I'm horrible at messaging, bro. So doing it via, doing it via messaging is right. 2-3 days if I hit you back.
Yeah.
And then I might feel like, damn, I ain't going to hit him back now because it's too late. You know what I'm saying? I forget. I'm busy. So just come to the studio and you watch it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, it's a bunch of things you can do. In high school, I spoke, but I spoke when you said what's up to me, and that was it. If I knew you, then yeah. But other than that, I was not a speaker.
Right.
I still had that mentality from up there where you don't speak if you're another person. I'm podcasting now. I went from pretty much not talking to people like, oh, you talk? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a voice, nigga? You know what I'm saying? That's how it be. Because
right.
People from I was school with wouldn't expect me to be doing this or be that candid. I wasn't a candid person. But you grow into yourself, which is go back to even with the sports thing, like the person you are at 14, 15, you ain't going to be 21, 22. You ain't going to be 27, 28, or you ain't going to be 30. You may grow into doing something different. You might think that you're supposed to be a basketball player. You might supposed to be a comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how many funny people play basketball?
Oh man,
you've been to AU trips.
Yeah,
you know how funny. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you spend all your time doing this, and it's like you could have kind of did this or just step out on faith and did a show or did but to her status really touched me so much because of course I got a brother that I feel like is going through the same thing where it's like you may not even want to go to certain events. Like, I don't want to do that because I'm this person to everybody, but I don't want to be that person to nobody, right? I want to just be Don. So I see him with his son more. I see him with his family more. So he won't be here family man. He just himself, right? And I wonder how many other players are like that because so many players that's nice we don't see often. It's like, do they want to come to the events because they want to speak about the old times all the time? Is it something internally they're dealing with? It's a lot of players that really had a high ceiling.
And so what we're saying to a lot of the players, if you are feeling like that, it's time to let go. It's time for healing, and it's time for that plan B. Bottom line, like there's nothing wrong with reinventing yourself.
Right.
You almost have to.
You got to.
You have to because you're not going. At some point in your life, even if you still dropping 30 now and you was out of high school 10 years ago, that ball is gonna stop bouncing. That football is gonna get deflated. The line's gonna come out the baseball. that hockey puck, the ice gonna melt.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you do then? Like, and it's okay. It's all right. It like maybe we need to create a safe space for athletes to come back and say, hey, I just want to talk about how good I was. And they all leave it right there.
You know, and I feel like that's another thing too, because we think about when life happens, and you never know what life happens means to each. It's different to each individual, right? But I feel like you should be able to come back to where they went to school at, and I ain't saying you gotta give them money, but they should be able to work or get a you know, feel like they got a home to come to get a job, or they should be able they should go to their school where they played at and did all this extra ticket sales and stuff at to be able to be employed and stuff like that. It's a lot that go on that I think subconsciously we don't think about. Cause I'm not in sports, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But from what I see, I think that's the main thing. Is income, is money. It's like, what else can I do? All I knew was basketball.
But for the kids who weren't in sports, and they go off, okay, that kid who wasn't really popular like that was in the band, that had the highest math average, that went off to college and had one of the highest averages, but still wasn't on the popular scene like that, but becomes a CEO, or becomes the owner of a bank or something like that. And us after we come back, oh, I knew you. Yeah, I said, what you doing today? Yeah, I remember you used to drop 30 or whatever. Okay, well, what you doing? Oh, I'm a CEO, making 6-7 figures.
That's humbling and that hurts. It's like, damn, 6 years ago I was joking on you probably,
and now you're the athlete that needs a job,
and it's that person's decision.
So how you treat people is another.
But you know, this speaking of Augusta, was like that happens a lot in this city, a lot, because people don't leave the city really. They love the city, which is it's a loving city. It's nothing to leave, right? So a lot of times you got people who been in position 30-something years, but they still holding grudges from high school. Nah, nah, books out my hand. I was a freshman.
We gotta let that hate go. We gotta let the hate go. It's just,
I'm all for that. Yeah,
2022 is just time for healing. We've been through COVID. Like we gotta let egos and grudges. We gotta let that stuff go. Along with you've scored 30 in high school. We gotta let it go. Like your time now it's not your time anymore.
You know, she said, so as coaches and parents, we must do a better job affirming our players and providing them with the space, opportunities, time to explore who they really are outside of athletics. As a parent, I'm gonna speak to me from a parent's aspect. How would you do that? Your son is playing. We're gonna keep on basketball. Playing basketball right now. He's looking like one of the top athletes, you know, in the city in the CSRA. How do you go about affirming that he has an identity outside of sports?
We keep him well rounded. That's one thing. My wife and I, we are really, really adamant about keeping them in a lot of things. And it's a lot of opportunities for kids. You know, not only in Augusta but the whole CSRA area, really the whole state. There are options out there. So you just got to make sure your kids have a hand in about 2 or 3 things that they're interested in outside of that sporting aspect, whether it's a piano or whether it's coding. It has to be something else, because you got to show them, you know, that don't put out the whole, put all your eggs in one basket theory, but you gotta, and we watch a lot of these shows. There's on the show. Now I am, specific and really, really particular about what I let my kids watch. But at the same time, a lot of these shows like All American Homecoming, it's a spinoff of All American, but on the Homecoming, what are they doing on there? You got one football player got hurt. Now he sings. You got a few of them that they're dancing on there, and then part of you got the tennis team and they're modeling and doing other stuff with clothes. So they're showing you these things on these TV shows, but we got to actually have in-depth conversations with our kids about them.
I think then shout out to her, because like I said, this was something I was just tagged in. They said like my podcast, they want to do it, and I hope that they really watch it all the way through. I'm gonna give them their credit. I don't know her full name, but it's CD on Facebook. And they tagged me in this and they said, you should do a show, and I love your show. So I wanted to do it, and I did it with her, right? But I think that one of the dopest words she used rather is affirming. Because like it's if you're not just encouraging, but like it's really pushing your kid to do something. I know you're good in this, but I want to push you to also do this. Like you don't have to tell the kid like, hey, you may not make it in this. It's just we're gonna do both. They blindly that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just we're gonna do both. You might see a kid that even if you do it, might people doing a sport. They make them play every sport. They don't know. You just gonna pick which one you're good at. All right, try. But you should also pick something outside of sports. Right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta encourage your kid, push them. As a coach, I feel like some coaches can be selfish in the sense of they may have a star player. They think in basketball all the time. Get your grade right in basketball. That's it. 2 things, right? But on the court, they're doing 30 different things on the court. I feel like as a coach, if you really care about that kid, find out what his interest is outside of sports,
Right.
and then push him to do that, to do both. Because you never know, that thing you push him outside of sports might be the thing that you might have to have him analyze, or might be the thing that you make as far as like a simile or something. You might put it towards basketball ways, and they might do good in both. Who knows?
Right.
But I think as coaches, AAU and college and high school coaches, they both got to do a better job. But as a kid, at 16 years old, and sports is your life, whatever, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 5, 6 coaches, 5, 6 men in your life. It should be no way, and if you got a dad, it should be no way that once sports is done, you feel like you lost your identity, because every person should have given you something different to do identity-wise. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, that's just me.
No, you're right. You're right. And we as mentors, we as coaches, we as parents, we have to like she said, affirm. Let it's okay. It's all right. Like I know we feel like sports is the end all be all. It's attractive. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's okay to do something else. It's okay to be a young male, but you know how to sing. It's okay. It's called being well-rounded. And when you're well-rounded, you give yourself an opportunity to make those millions that you say you really want.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing too, though. We look at
Can I have some more Pepsi?
Success.
You just poured yourself.
I ain't see you drinking. You got water right there.
I got a little bit right here.
One of different cats is different. Anyway, but I think when we also talk about success and money,
good, bro. Appreciate it.
we gotta see. That's what happened last time. I tried to give you extra soda, you wouldn't do it. But when you think about money and things of that nature, we can't also equate 11 million to success either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we gotta. It's just a better job overall from the minute they can start comprehending certain things of telling them why, sitting them down, talking to them. Because we do it in other things, right? Because other kids don't. Like you said, right, the CEO or whoever's in school. It's sad that you can have this phenomenal high school career. You can go get college or free education. Somebody's got a regular high school career. This is regular dude, regular college career. Y'all both 25 years old now, but they at the happiest point in life because they able to find themselves by doing different things because they wasn't so invested into one thing.
Yep.
But you invested your whole heart and soul into this one thing. Statistics show you that it's 99, pretty much 98% ain't going.
Nah,
They ain't.
Just ain't.
They ain't. But you'll be depressed because you're part of 98% and not part of that 2%.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And it's really backwards.
I will say this, like a lot of my classmates from Richmond, most of them they weren't on the popular scene. They were popular to me because we were in the same class, but a lot of them just didn't like to go out, didn't really come to sporting events or whatever, and they're doctors now. I'm super proud of them. Even the ones that weren't my classmates, just ones that was in lower classes or at another school. I love to see people from Augusta that weren't in sports become successful in other things other than sports. Why? Because these are the people that I want to make sure that they are pros now.
Yeah.
We always, associate being a pro with a sport, but that's not necessarily the case. You can go pro in anything. And like I said, you're a pro at what you do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's done it to this level in Augusta for this long.
I'm all right,
You know what I'm saying? But you can go pro in anything, and it's okay to do something different other than sport. Not saying that sports isn't the way for some people, because it is. But like you said, that percentage gets very, very small
when you really break it down.
Yeah.
One thing I did when I was in sociology, I feel like it's certain classes and certain courses that players should take anyway. And I know most times, and we saying this most times, those courses are available. You do, when you go to the school visit, they do. It's not just basketball. Your mom might give you just basketball, but they give you different things. You just might zoned out when they talk about the academic part of things. So you might not, I don't want to worry about. But when it's come to sports, you know what I'm saying? You with the coach, y'all eating and stuff, it's all good. But she mentioned another thing too. She says, I know way too many millennials that are one major event away from crashing out, and I believe the downward spiral started when the ball stopped bouncing. I'll tell you one better. I think a lot of times the down spiral starts when their first realization is that they're not going to make it comes into play. So for some people, it's when the ball stops bouncing, though. But some people, they have a great college career, they don't get drafted, and now it's from there. But for some, it starts when you go to college. Like, oh, okay, this is different. I can adjust. I'm not that high school athlete I was. I'm not as good as I thought I was. I'm not adapting here. So you're depressed because you're away from your family. It's so many different things that an athlete is going through being away. them coaches, they got new players now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to say, they got a new favorite.
They didn't replace you.
Yeah.
Somebody else give them 30. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, they got another person for that.
So that goes back to what we were saying before. We were talking off air, and that circle of people that you have around you, man. That's when it becomes more important than anything, because now those are the people that you vent to, and the conversations that you're having with them. Now you need to be talking about some real life stuff, like what do I do? Mentally, you may be venting, but if you got a circle of friends and say, "Hey, look, listen, we know what you were. You're not that anymore. So how about you scored 30 over, like I said before, you scored 30. Won't you? You said you want to be a banker. Prove it.
Sure. Yeah.
Score 30 and being a banker. You may move up the chain and being at where you got your own bank or whatever, or you become the store manager or whatever. Like you said you want to be an artist, right? Prove it.
And the analogy I would use for that is the fact that I said this earlier. You start playing, little league ball, whatever, you 7, 6 years old. Now you 16, 17, you making decisions about what college you're going to go to. That's 10 years, but you didn't put that work in for 10 years. So yeah, when you go being a banker, you can't expect, because in 6 months you ain't move up, that, what's going on?
Oh yeah, it's going to take time. Yeah.
It took you 10 years to get to that college. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a
process.
grind.
It's a process.
And one thing about you, like you say, you like, I'm a director at 30. I don't want nobody to think that that's their talent, but at the end of the day, that's applaudable, that's commendable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you did a lot of stuff before that. You coached there, you did this, you did that.
Yeah.
I've interviewed you a while back, and you were doing something totally different.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the most greatest jobs. You know what I'm saying? But you did what you had to do to get what you had to get.
I was trying to go pro in what that was.
There
Whatever the job was, I'm gonna make sure that people can say, "Oh man, the same effort he gave on the basketball court, the same way he gave this job. He came in early. He stayed late. Even now, I know a lot of times my staff won't see me, but I'm out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over 6 parks. I'm out in the field. We got huge parks. So I'm looking at stuff. I'm doing research. I'm going to other parks, seeing, hey, what do they have that we may be able to get in McDuffie County?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at. I'm talking with other directors. I'm talking to other employees for Parks and Rec and say, hey, look, I like what some of you doing. Let me take some notes so I can come back and bring it to my staff who may or may not want to do it or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But
when you think about sports, everything you just said just now, you watching film, you scouting, you doing research, you practicing, you at the gym. It's like you there. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing.
It's the same mentality that we just gotta. If you say you got a routine and doing something, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna eat a raw egg. I'm gonna do 20 push-ups. Okay, the 20 push-ups don't have to change just because you're not in sports anymore.
Right.
20 push-ups mean, hey, I want to do 20 push-ups so I could be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I play ball now strictly for cardio. Because I got three youngins that I want to be around for later on in life. So I had to really check my health. I had got up to a little bit about 210, 215. I said, that's too heavy for me right now. I did want to get around 200, 205, which I'm at now. I'm at a comfortable weight now with myself. But at the same time, life, like you said before, life can get away from you. But it's okay to reinvent yourself. And I'm telling you, that post, it should have 1,000 shares, man.
And it could be because she didn't make it public either. I'm looking at my screenshot now, so that's probably why. But I understand that thought process. I understand everything she's saying because I see it so often. And we also see other things that she didn't speak about here, but people resort to what they knew. Like, okay, well, I couldn't do crime and stuff growing up. I can do it now, though, because, there's still the homies, whatever. So it's other stuff there's other doors that can be opened with this conversation. But for the ones that's strictly about sports and losing their identity, one thing you just said that I would definitely tell them is, like you said, you still try Welcher regardless. Mm-hmm. Whether somebody would say, oh, that person that dropped 30 at Richmond, that person that did this, that did that. Everything they're saying, you the same person that put the work ethic in. So don't let your stats be your identity. Let your work ethic be your identity.
Absolutely.
Let the work you put in to do certain things be your identity. Don't let that jersey, and I know that jersey, it mean a lot. You got the Musketeers. Just imagine that now. But you got ARC, you got this school, you got the school name and that number. That's not your identity. Because when you leave, somebody else got that same number.
I'm glad you said that. So, and I have to say this on air because I'm super proud of the player he has become, but he's become also a father, and he's gotten into the workforce. So Rashad Lee, You know, I held on to the number one for as longest, you know, even in these alumni games. He called me and said, Trey, I want to wear number one. I said, Rashad, you got it. Y'all notice I haven't worn it in an alumni game or in the class. I don't wear one anymore. Why? Because right now he's the better number one. It's simple. He plays. I mean, he just played with the Georgia Soul.
Y'all can play 1-on-1 for it though.
He can have it. I'm to the point now. I still will beat anybody 1-on-1. Anybody. It's not even close. It's just my mentality. But that's just he can have it.
Yeah.
He can have it.
Yeah.
He can have it. But I switched my number from 1 to 64 because lost brother at 23, lost one at 41, just combined their numbers. So I wear 64 now, you know, in any league that I play in.
Drop 64. Might do that.
That'll be great. How to hit some three. I gotta get in shape for that, but
yeah, that's all good though. But yeah, and as far as from a player aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you take in somebody telling you this? Like how do you expect players to or how should players receive this type of information?
Gotta get out our feelings. We have to get out our feelings and just understand what the reality is. I mean, if you know you got 2 kids or a kid or whatever, and you know you haven't been working out like that, you've been out the game for about a year or 2, it's time to do something else. Because now you're giving up on yourself. And that's not the athlete that mentality should never change. You should never give up on yourself. You got to look in that mirror. I mean, at some point, the competitor that you are should move into something else. Be a competitor with your life. Be a competitor with your work ethic. Like that should never change. You know, the plate may change, but the stuff, what you like to eat.
Yeah. Do you think coaches, teachers, parents, do you think is it more they can do as far as like as not even just affirming, but just drilling it in like, hey, let's not say every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not say we having these talks every 4 or 5 months, but like just like we daily asking them how many points you drop. We daily talking about basketball, daily talking about the sports. Should we be daily talking about other things as well?
What did you do today to become a better person? What did you do today? What did you learn today? Did you learn something new today? I sent my staff a text at like 5. I often do that about 5 something, 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And I was away on a leadership retreat. And during that leadership retreat, I know
that sounds wild, but go ahead.
I'm telling you, I sent them something at 5 in the morning, and the text simply said, you know, definitely good morning. I challenge you today to do something out of your comfort zone for a coworker. I get it. He's sending us this. I wonder if he's doing it. Absolutely. Because that same day, I had to go on a high ropes course with my leadership classmates. I hate heights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we had an incident, and the one of my classmates, not gonna name her name, but she had an incident. She had a situation on there, and you know it was scary. But she got down, and you know she was yelling like, "You better go on that high." And they know me. I'm not going on high ropes course. I don't like heights. But I said, you know what? I'll be a hypocrite if I send this to my coworkers and said, you know, get out your comfort zone, do something for somebody else. And I can't even go up here. And she was one person that I know for a fact wanted me to get up there and do it. So I'm like, you know what, let me do it. And I felt good that I did it. Now there was another high ropes course higher than that I did not go up there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so getting out of your you got to create a new comfort zone. Is what I'm basically trying to say. You got to create a new comfort zone, create a safe space for these athletes that are going through these things. We got to start being able to talk to each other about it.
So one thing I'm interested in, I want to make sure I bring this up too, is I want to, because not putting it on you, but you got the power at this point to do things like this because of your position and what you do, right? But I do think that something like this has to be start getting installed in kids younger.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just do it when they start getting good, because at that point, their mind is already made up. Oh, I'm good enough to do this. That's what they're saying. So we got to do it at the little leagues, them rec leagues, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's feasible for any department or any recreation team or crew to do this, but they probably should have it where, like, when you do have these games or you have these practice or whatever, coaches, play whatever, they should be also using some of that time to see what else somebody else can do. If you can sing, won't you sing? If you can, let's go to this talent show, let's put you in this. Like, just doing other things where you can get trophies at of other things besides awards, besides sports. What you notice is a lot of people that play sports, all their trophies is sports. You don't see sometimes, but you don't really see academic stuff. You don't see good in math or number one. Like it's a bunch of other things that you can be getting awards from all your life too, to also give you that feeling like I can also be successful here.
Right.
I can be successful here. I can be successful here. You
know how
talent shows. I'm sorry, talent shows just like you have sporting events.
You know how a lot of people sometimes like to when they get a lot of money, they like to do the little flash thing with the money. I never understood it, but they like to just show everybody all the money they got. We should be able to do that as people, as youth. They should be able to feel comfortable doing that with A honor rolls.
Yeah, definitely.
This leadership award or whatever, like across the board. So what I'm basically saying is,
it should be a variety of awards, not just sports. It should be sports, academics, being a good person, my talent. Yeah. This is what I got right here.
Like this my bankroll. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the best things I will say that my parents did for me was let me go to Davidson for 2 years. I grew up in C.T. Walker, kindergarten through 5th grade, but there was no sports at C.T. Walker, so you had to play in the rec league. But when I went to Davidson, you basically in middle school, but you in high school the entire time. Like you get the high school vibe in middle school, and was in the chorus there. Played the cello. Eventually was in the all-county chorus and all-county orchestra. You got to see different things on a daily basis. Plays. People get millions of dollars for plays on Broadway. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like my best friend, her sister, she's in multiple plays on Broadway. She's an actress in Hollywood. Like it's just and my best friend, she's a doctor. And she was a cheerleader, you know what I'm saying, at Richmond. So it's like she's a doctor. Like
successful.
She's a successful doctor, and her husband is too. You know, like so. That's what I mean. Like those are pros to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess one thing I'll say is like obviously it seems like for you, your parents didn't make you hold on to the fact you gotta be a ball player. Mm-mm. And I think that's probably the pro in this conversation me and you having versus what she is saying. Like some parents, some coaches feel like that they make you feel like that's your only way out subconsciously. Yeah, they're not doing it on purpose, but in fact that's all they're talking about. That's all you getting awarded for. You getting hugs and for having a good game. Did you get a hug for getting an A?
But that reality.
But you get reprimanded for getting a C.
That's my point. And when that reality sets in, we gotta change our vocabulary. We have to change our tone with these kids because if you barking at them, you basketball, football, like that's all they're gonna think.
That's what I wanted to do. Sorry, but I brought my last point that I wanted to bring up too is because I know a lot of coaches talk about this too. As parents and coaches, they got to be on the same page, and sometimes they're not, and that can also hurt a kid in the long run, right? Because a lot of times, and she said it start for the downward spiral when the ball start bouncing. I feel like it start while you playing and certain things you're seeing. Your parent think you deserve to get more minutes. I just say that's the thing, right? And you might be, let's say you're good enough to you still get better whenever time go on. Or your parent feels one way about whatever situation, sport-wise it is. Coach feel another way. They bickering back and forth, right? You're wrong as a player because you're doing a certain thing, but your parent making you feel like you're right.
Yeah.
That's a downward spiral because at that point now you're going to be uncoachable to every coach because as long as your mom say you're right, you probably going to feel like I'm right. Or your pop say you're right, you probably going to feel like I'm right.
Then you're going to run out of teams to go to.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's so much evolved around sports because then you get pulled from this school to go to that school. All right, things going good for you over here, cool. But now you think that situation y'all was right in. Yeah, I might have been wrong in. Things happen for you, it was good. Right. But how it can help you in the long run when you get to college or when you got real life situations going on? Because mommy and daddy ain't going to be there.
That's how we ended up with so many travel teams.
You always tell me. But that's the reality of things. So things start within. It's not the high coming down, but it's when it's going to being high.
There's no dialogue anymore. There's no dialogue anymore. There's no communication. If and I will say this, playing for the Curry Warriors back in the day, Coach John Curry, he had parent meetings every practice, before practice, and like sometimes parents would go in a room. We won't even hear what's going on. We're practicing. We need to talk.
You said something earlier too, and I think that's another thing as well. I'm just thinking about all the things that parents can do, coaches can do. You said truth. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the main things that athletes don't hear enough because as long as you're producing, I'm gonna pat you in the back. Truth is, you might score 30. Truth is, man, that's cool. You might have shot 20 shots. That's a bad thing. You don't know that though. because you scored 30. So I said, good game, and we won the game. That's cool.
Right.
Truth is, you might have been wrong in the situation, but because you produce, they ain't gonna tell you that, and they're gonna sweep under the rug. So that also creates a downward spiral because you thinking that just as long as you're doing good here, things should be swept under the rug. Then life happens, and you ain't doing that no more. They pull you over, whatever happened, you ain't get swept under the rug. It's real life. So it's so many things in sports that even she didn't mention also that I do think hurts a player in the long run when you stop playing. So when the ball stop bouncing, a lot of times, if you're not getting treated as an equal citizen when the ball is bouncing, I could also see that being affected when the ball stop bouncing, because at this point now you feel like people treating you differently because the ball stopped bouncing.
Yeah.
But it's not that. They treated you differently because the ball was bouncing.
So I'm not
now you're getting treated the same as everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
they don't feel the same.
So I was about to say that. So you just touched on it. And this not talking about anybody's job and just giving an example. If you're a former student and that ball stopped bouncing and you got a family to feed, okay, now you're gonna be looking for the first job that you can find, right? Let's say it's working at Hardee's or any fast food chain, whatever. That manager at that store don't care how many points you scored in high school. Are you doing the job correctly here? That Walmart store manager, that Target or wherever you're working at, that store that they don't care. Your supervisor does not care about how many points you scored. They may talk about, I know when you scored, okay, make sure you had this done by 5 o'clock.
I know, right?
They don't care.
That's what's up. Yeah.
My supervisor, he doesn't care how many points I scored. Are you doing the job that we've asked you, that we brought you in to do? Simple. And I'm not going to ever give, like I tell my staff all the time, anybody is replaceable, including me. And it's not going to be me. Why? Because I'm going to always go above and beyond what they're asking me to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and that's what I look for in people that I hire. I don't need them to be the same as me. I don't want to hire another me. I want to hire people that think differently, that think outside the box. And if we're continuously just talking about what we did and not what we're done or doing, we living in the past. And
definitely.
I had an older brother to tell me that. It was a tough conversation, but I had to get out of my feelings. I had to look myself in the mirror, and I had to accept what he was saying because it was coming from a place of love, not hate and envy. It was coming from a place where I see more in you. You ain't basketball no more. Let it go.
Also was the truth though.
And it was the truth.
Because he could have sugarcoated, because sometimes, especially in family, you don't want to have a rift, so you just kind of like, yeah, I think you should do that. And that's the wrong thing to do, to not cause a rift. Have that rift. Let that person not talk to you for a little while. It'll be beneficial for them in the long run.
They're going to sit on it, marinate on it.
Yeah.
And hopefully.
But at the end of the day, when things go up for them, they're like, you know what, damn, looking back at it, that conversation really would set me up.
Yeah.
But if you keep lying to them, that also puts them in depression, because all their life, they've been patted on the back. They ain't been told the truth.
Right.
Athletes get it the worst sometimes, in my opinion.
And I think what we're doing right here is creating a space, creating a platform where if they just want to talk about an event, maybe it's to us, maybe it's just to you. I don't know, but I want them to be able to come and just talk to me. I've done it. I've lived it.
This is what I'll say, and I'll say it's on camera and stuff, just so it's documented and stuff like that. Like, if it's an athlete that watches, and I don't care if you, and I don't care, I know we talk about basketball, that's because that's what we relate to. I don't care if you play football, basketball, soccer, baseball, softball, swimming, wrestling, any sport you did that you were good in, and you feel like that's what you're going through that, or you're depressed, anyway, if you was a student athlete or star athlete, and you were depressed because your life not going where you wanted to go, or whatever the case may be, you can reach out to me, or reach out to Trev, reach out to me, whatever, and I'll make sure we got a space. I'll provide you with some kind of counseling, something. I'm cool with that, because I feel like that's important for people. You know what I'm saying?
And we're not saying it's necessarily going to be recorded.
Yeah, it don't have to be. It don't have to be sit down. It's not. If you wanted to be on here, that's fine. I'm cool with it, but that's not.
You can't take
goal.
my slot, not time slot. I got
everybody replaceable. Okay, remember that. You know what I'm saying? But
hey, so we got to say this. We got to say this on there. Me and Maine are actually truly friends.
Yeah,
like we don't talk every day, but we talk enough. Yeah. On the span of what, weeks, months.
Yeah, definitely. When we do talk, we talk a lot though.
Yeah, so. Like we're actually friends. So when we have these same conversations off air. But he won't tell you, so I'll go ahead and tell you. I'm his favorite person to interview on here.
Sports. Yeah. When it comes to sports players, in all seriousness though, you are. And the reason why is because of the thing we're talking about, though.
Right.
There's a lot of sports players that I would have on here that maybe can't articulate themselves the way you articulate. They're not used to talking. They play sports their life.
And
they don't know the same when they come up here.
And it's just training. Like, and if those people want to get better at it, all they gotta do is call me. I'm not perfect, but one of my favorite analysts to watch is Jay Williams. He got hurt, got injured, motorcycle accident. I think he would have been one of the top 5 point guards of all time.
I'm a Duke fan. I love Jay Williams.
Man, I think he would have been nice. He was having a great season with the Bulls.
See, life happens.
Life happens, and what? He's on ESPN.
That's why you gotta be educated, man. You gotta. I think, like I said, that success. Success has to be. It has to be a roadmap,
right?
And basketball sports has to be that vehicle. It can't be the end all be all.
Right.
Sports should be the vehicle to success. Use that sport, whatever. Make them connections. I think one of the reasons why we have so many successful people that didn't play sports or that wasn't in sports because they were able to go to college and really network for real.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people this all the time, and nobody wants to hear this, but when you go to college and you on a team or you playing sports, or if you just close to people, that's whatever, right? And like their chances may be slim, but it might be somebody that chances are good. And you going to school to be, I don't know, a legal something, whatever. Latch on to that person. You could be doing his contracts. You could be his agent. You never know what you could be doing. The double thing about college to me is that, don't get me wrong, it's expensive. You play sport, that's why I say vehicle, you put the work in and get it free, cool. It's networks, it's networking every day. Everybody knows you.
Yep.
You post it all over the school. Like the means are endless to that person.
Yeah.
You lot during them years, because once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
But you got 4 years to use
that's
it. You know what I'm saying? People do one and done. Everybody, a select few can get there. But as an athlete, you really gotta, once you in college, whatever, and it hasn't been installed in you, you need to definitely be making sure you're making an exit plan. Like when this is done, even if you are going overseas for a couple years and you're going to use that money and start a business, that's dope too. I'm all for that, you know? Because overseas, ain't nothing wrong going overseas, getting that free tax, no money, whatever, and coming back and building something cool. But have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no reason why you should be going to school 4 years for free and not have a plan. And somebody that had to pay or somebody that had to get a loan that's done and working off their loans now is more planned out than you. You had everything and you had to go get it.
Right.
So, and one side I do feel away for athletes and I want them to, progress, but I also want them to utilize all their opportunities. That's the main thing of this conversation. Utilize every single opportunity you have. Sometimes they'll shut it down because they feel like, oh no, I'm playing basketball only.
Right.
Talk to that track coach that's trying to talk to you. Talk to them other. You never know. You never know.
Most schools,
the drama, being in them plays, do all that stuff that you think might be embarrassing. I'm telling you, that networking will get you where you got to go.
Most schools, especially for athletes, we always kind of gravitate towards anything involving sports.
Mm-hmm.
Most schools have wellness centers.
Yep.
Go work in the wellness center. That could be your first job there.
You could be a trainer. You could. It's so much stuff in sports. Like it's so many, and I think that's another thing we ain't talk about, but. We ain't got time, but I think that we also need. You the part 2 king. We also need to have classes where it's a list of sports related careers.
Yes. Yeah. That's
So whereas it's not a weird transition,
right?
If okay, I might not make it, but I might be a physician, a sports physician, or I might just do a sports medicine or something like that. You still with the game. You still right there. You can still do you can still live your passion and do that. Now you killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just something to be talked about. Definitely all the sports careers that you can have because it's a bunch of them there.
Maybe that's something we could start here.
I don't see why not. I've been trying to get a sports job, but it's all good.
Hey, we working.
I don't want to sell grills. Next 4th of July, I ain't trying to be selling grills, man. I'm telling you right now. If I have to, I will, because the money is good. Don't get me wrong, but my head about to blow up. I'm tired of selling grills.
No, man. But that's something we definitely can create. I'm all for creating things to make it easier for others, easier for the youth coming up.
Right now, I'm trying to utilize even what I'm doing now with podcasting. Like, I wouldn't mind going somewhere, even if it's less money I have to take, as being a speaker or being some kind of keynote speaker and doing something with what I'm doing here that I like to do, where I'm able to do this and make money. You know what I'm saying? And do both. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a lot of jobs where it's like speech and stuff like that. One thing I wish I did was, if I knew I was going to be doing something like this, I would have took speech as a degree. My degree is in criminal justice. I ain't fought crime a day in my life. The closest I've been to fighting crime is saying, hey, don't take that merchandise out the store, please. And they ain't got to stop. You know,
Hey.
they don't have to stop.
Hey, but it's a lot of people who got degrees and things that they're not
And
doing.
that's why that's why it starts when you are young.
Yeah.
And you can find that passion, because I can tell you right now, I got my degree because I had a kid. And I said I need a degree so that if I tell her to go to school ain't even a thing no more. School is like one of them things where you can go if you want to. You don't have to go pro in that. So, all that stuff. But that's why I did it. It wasn't a passion of mine. It just was the easiest course. Okay, I got to take them 5 courses. I bet. Knock it out. Let's go. I'm out of school. You know what I'm saying? That's the wrong way to go about it. I should use more networking. I should have tried more things. Should have been more open. College is the place you need to be open at. And for a person that playing sports, like, I think y'all it's free.
Yeah.
Most times, if you especially if you're nice, it's free. So don't look at it as you ain't make it here. Look at it as like you got damn near $100,000
Yeah.
to just go network. Imagine I'm giving you $100,000 and saying, hey, look, go make as many connections as you can.
Yeah.
Because you might not make it to the league.
not make it
but
to
you
the
still
league.
can play ball though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a chance to do it, but I'm also giving you $100,000.
No, that's real. That's real.
That's
though.
what they do.
That's what it is. That's literally what it is.
And you got to look at it that way. And I think it has to be courses of us telling them that's exactly what it is. From the breakdown of like, all you gotta do is do your work, learn your work, be 100% on the court, because that's why you're here. Use that vehicle and make as many connections as possible, because these people that's watching you and clapping for you right now, they're gonna be something big,
right?
And you might need them to hire you.
Yes.
And that's and honestly, I think if you look at it that way, you don't be depressed. Life goes on for you.
So you go back to relationships you build. You can't be out here treating people like trash.
If I gotta start young,
yeah,
you gotta know that person 7th grade. Don't issue on them because they ain't make the team,
right?
Because that person may be the owner of something later on, and you don't make his team at all.
Exactly.
I work with people right now that's in that field. It's like people feel like, oh, they ain't hired me because I used to joke in high school. Probably. It could be. You answer all 3 questions perfect. You ain't get the job, right?
They gave you an interview just to see where you at in life.
Oh, you need a job? Okay, well, what can you do? I know you hoop no more. So you know what I'm saying? That's
real. Like we're laughing, but that's in all seriousness. That's the reality of a lot of people. What everybody's going through right now.
Yeah,
man, they ain't hired me because Bob was, and you were in the same class as Bob, and you treated Bob like trash. Like you laughed at him, joked at him every day. I mean,
it's so much that go into that, and I think so much is coached on how to play the game, but it's not. It's no coaching on how to navigate once you looked at as somebody that's playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Etiquette. It's certain things you just don't do. You're not gonna go there and ish on the people that's playing rec ball because you're playing high school ball. It's just certain things. He may be the director of the rec league one day. You know what I'm saying? And you might need a job. Now you can't get it because you mad because he's on the Timberwolves and he was on Musketeers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just feel like we all and with student athletes reinventing themselves. On the flip side, those who were getting treated like trash in high school, whatever, you gotta let that hate go too, because it does no good.
Definitely.
But
I would even want to have that person that's I wouldn't have somebody on that's successful now, didn't have the best high school career. I got these stories. Let's talk about this and let's talk about how we gonna go from here, because you create that cycle over and over again if you still mad about something like that.
Right.
Let it go. Let's progress and let's put it on the table. Be truthful, like we've been saying.
But definitely have that conversation.
Have it, because you gotta get rid of them demons.
Yeah.
Now you're going to bed, now you're successful, but you mad. You still mad because this person that's not successful pissed you off in high school.
Yeah.
Like he going through it, but you mad going through it because you mad that he did something when you was in high school. It just made no sense, Get over it, call it a day, and let's build each other up.
Right.
But yeah, this was a dope conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? Always a pleasure talking to you, especially when you be real. You know what I'm saying? This was probably the realest you've been, so this is dope.
Trev says things. Yeah,
Trev says stuff.
Episode will be dropping soon.
1 to 2 months.
Shout out to Zach. We're working on something right now. Y'all see me dabbling a little bit in the spoken word.
Hey man, shout out to Zach, man. I got the mics he get you. I got my own now. Yeah. So, yeah. I was gonna use I was gonna tell you come to the crib and do it, but I said, I'm gonna do it here. But yeah, I got a video that's on YouTube now, on Facebook too. I had to fight my daughter a water fight. I used the mics with that. And when my mom used the mics.
Shut your mom with a water gun?
No, I had an episode with my mom.
Oh, okay.
and we used the mics, the clip-on mics.
About to say,
The
man,
wire.
you ruthless, boy.
No. I don't do that. My mom don't play that. She play, but she don't play that. You know what I'm saying? You know how
we gotta get Zach on him. I want Zach to sit down.
Nah, we can get Zach on here definitely. Yeah, we could do another Travis that thing. You know what I'm saying?
He don't like that I'm doing it right now, man. Don't be trying to put me on camera. Now, Zach, he coming on here.
Shout out to Zach, man. Like I said, I always give information out. And Zach, somebody, he texted me one day about something too, and like I shot out to him real quick. I don't text back that quick, but because he gave me that plug on the mics,
yeah,
I had to go find it from right then and there. You know,
yeah.
Shout out to him, man. Yeah, that's a cool dude right there.
Yeah, he don't work with you. He don't work with everybody, man. But you know,
hey man, I don't either. You know what I'm saying? I create my own lane. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work with somebody, but you know, it's all good. Hey man, hey, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, One Masters Podcast, we out, man.
Just says thing.
One Masters Podcast, we out.